sākumā. Bobsleigh spēlēto no sieviešu Monobobā februārī šajā šīm otrdienās arī mums noslēgušās jaunas ziemas olimpiskās spēles. Medaļām bagātas Latvijai. Mēs tieši par šo sportu vienkārši klasēs. 2018. gadā olimpiskās spēles cīnījās sastāvības
Go! Good morning and welcome to snowy Sigulda in Latvia, the 6th race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. Wherever you are, however early it is or late in the evening, thank you for joining us. Martin Haven ready to talk our way through a long Friday of action. Skeleton for men and women comes up later, but first thing this morning, the first of two women's bobsleigh races this weekend. Now, women having to make up a missing round because they weren't competing in the season opener in Beijing. So this will be the first of two, the second women's race, which is also the European Championship on Sunday morning. Start record here by the last 2 years' winners, Lauren Alter and Deborah Levy. It's a relatively short run down into corner one, and this is the sequence where the race is won and lost. We're high on stilts above the ground here into corner two and corner three, which causes so many problems given such a short turn. Listen to how the speed really starts to pick up here, down into 6, 7, 8. We're on ground level now. Corner 9, and then big corner 10, big corner 11. Really hard turn. Corner 12, G-forces really crushing the athletes into the sled through 13 and 14. Very quick transitions here. Long straight down and then up into 15. Then another long straight over the outrun into corner 16, and then swirling round underneath that straight and through up towards the finish. Well, the key areas, corners 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the transitions 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, and those two straights can be absolute time killers. Well, Lauren Alter is our World Cup points leader, from Kim Kalicki and Lisa Buchwitz, with Ellie Hassler of Switzerland next up, ahead of rookie Keisha Love, Brianna Walker, and returning superstar Alana Myers-Taylor. She'll hate being called that. This morning we have a field of 15 sleds, and among them are most of our medalists from the last season. Kaylee Humphries, who was the bronze medalist last year, not here. She is expecting her first baby. Alana Myers-Taylor there is back, having had her second child last year. Lauren Alter, the winner of the last season, with Nela Scooten. She is in the field this morning. There's Kim Kalicki. She took silver last year with Anna Baganda, and she is back as well. So the start draw, well, Victoria Chananska goes off first, ahead of Adele Nicol of Great Britain and Cynthia Appia. Then our top 10 sliders in random draw order. Melanie Hassler fourth. The winner of the last two races, Lauren Alter, and then Kim Kalicki, the world champion, goes off in 10th place, ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor. And as long as they all make it down, they will all go through into the second heat. First sled on ice, this is race 5 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We're in Sigulda in Latvia, the first of two races. Victoria Chananska of Slovakia, just one race weekend here in World Cup. Race here in Europa Cup as well. Here, across the behind her, her stalwart great woman has done pretty much every race with Victoria since she started driving two sleds. Out of turn 1 into 2. Turn 1 high above the ground on stilts. 2 to 3. This labyrinth little tap there into corner 4. And then out of 6, whipping out of 6. Building speed quickly now, 7, 8 and 9. And then the big right-hander at corner 10 whips into 11 and into corner 12. Comes at you very fast here, 13. Exit and running down the straight from 14 into 15, big height, whoa. I'm gathering the track has been very nicely spritzed and is feeling a little more lively than it was in training. Across the line she comes with a wild 51.58 of a 5.70 start. Well, barely over 50 seconds. This is a short track, only 1,420 meters. Here is the exit out of 14, and it causes so many problems, late runner pressure, and this is the run up over the outrun into 16. Big skids there as well. We will see a lot of those. Yeah, poor Victoria. That was a bit of a wake-up call this early in the morning. Next up, Great Britain's Adele Nicol, and she's being braked by Will Gibb, who made her World Cup debut last week in Lillehammer behind Nikki McSweeney. And Adele Nicol with good memories of this track, silver medalist with Misha McNeil in January 2022's race. Misha's best ever result. Sean Olsen at the back, Graham Richardson at the front, helping out with the coaching and with the sled. Second Women's Bobsleigh World Cup for Adele Nicol. She joined me in the booth for the four-man race in Lillehammer after racing mono and the first ever two-speed sled start in World Cup for her. Let's hope that she can make that upward progress now here in Sigulda, another track she's new to as a driver, quietly out of turn one. Trying to avoid the little taps in 2 and 3, they take away so much of your early speed. Little tap going into 4, very common. And then whipping around 4, 5, 6. As the brake woman in the back seat, you've got to be really hunkered down and holding on. Out of 10, corner 11. Into big 13, and the exit clean out of 14. Little tap and a long skid down into 15, 2400s up. Oh, and a squirrely over the rise into corner 16. Big pressure there, got her early across the line with a 51.35. And that was off a 5.55 start, so strong starting. There's Adam Baird down at the bottom. He'll be racing later on this weekend for Team GB. Will Gibb, the new young brakeman, just 20 years old. Wild and late there from Adele Nicol. All right, first trip down, not quite sure how that's going to pan out for her. Next up, Cynthia Apper and Leah Walkenden from Canada. 21st at World Cup start as a driver from Cynthia. And a 10th start in World Cup for Leah Walkenden. The two have been regular pairing all season long. Best place finish of 6th here, Cynthia, 5.44, so 1100s quicker than Team GB, who we've just seen. Has not been the strongest season for Appia. She finished 3rd in World Cup standings, 4th in World Cup standings last year. Best result in Lillehammer last week, a 9th place finish. That's her only top 10 of the season. In the green, 1600s, but not as good speed as we saw from Adele Nicol. And Appia, long skid. You're going to see so many of those. And again, into 16. And across the line. Well, she has the lead by just 800ths of a second, 51.27. So Cynthia Appia, Leah Walkenden, 3rd sled down with a narrow lead at the moment. But again, big spike at first pressure, the sled heading straight up. Didn't quite have control, and as a result, late exit, really rocking and rolling there. And then again, little late exit, slithering and sliding, gets tapped square. So 3 sleds down, 12 to go in the first of our 2 heats. Next up is Melody Hassler, brand new brakewoman, 27-year-old Swama Kambundi from London. She's the 2nd youngest of 4 athletic sisters. All sprinters. This is her World Cup debut. She's had 2 Europa Cups and the Junior Worlds back in 2018. And then restarted this season, came here in December 23 for a Europa Cup race, but they didn't start. But these two are the reigning Swiss champions. So her only bobsleigh race this season, they got the first championship title. Decent start, 5:44, tying the fastest. Ooh, little tap from Mel going into corner 4. And again, rocking up into sit. A little hard on the take on, so hard to be precise. The track is just like an enormous Koenigsegg Estes. Lower Labyrinth is a little more open. Out of 13, late. Ooh, straight out of 14. Good 15, but a skid uphill into corner 16, and she's sideways going on. That's going to rob speed. Is she going to be in the lead at the line? She is by 2/10. That's always a little bit of a wild ride here. 5:44 start. She get more of her early speed on board. So congratulations to Muswama Kambundi for making her World Cup debut. And a decent start from them as well. The reigning Swiss champions. Well, that was a very late exit, wasn't it? And you see the brakewoman bouncing around in the back of the sled as a result, rocking and rolling. That long skid out of 15 to 16, definitely not helping with the top speed. Well, Melanie Hasser with the lead after 4 sleds. Next up is our World Championship silver medalist, Lisa Buchwitz, with Vanessa Mark back behind. Vanessa in her 10th World Cup start. Lisa in her 10th as a driver. After 17 starts as a very successful brakewoman, has not raced here. Well, not in the front, seeing where she's going anyway. 5:44 is the fast start at the moment. This could be down at low 30s. 5:34. Excellent starting as ever from Lisa Buchwitz. Needs to be super quiet here early on. Again, the tap to 4, just about impossible to avoid. We'll probably see the likes of Hanneslot, Francesco Frigic doing that as well. Down through the lower labyrinth now. And she's up by nearly 2/10 of a second, driving away from Melanie Hasler. Long skid, third best speed, height in 15. Not a bad looking drive at all from Lisa Buchwitz. Boy, she has come on so strong this season. First best speed, third best speed, but 1300 up at the bottom. They go a long way up on the brakes. See how cold it is this morning, their breath in the air. Big waving double pressure, and then very late off indeed. Out of 13 out of 14. And that really robs the sled of speed out of 14 here. Also meandering around. So plenty for everybody to tidy up in the second heat. Lisa Buchwitz is our leader, 5 down, 10 to go. Next up, Lauren Alter. 3 races here. She's had 1 crash in her debut and 2 wins. Claudia Schussler behind her makes her World Cup debut. Claudia won here in December in Europe Cup with Stephanie Schneider. Although we don't see her on World Cup, yes, Stephanie Schneider is still sliding. So 2 consecutive wins on this track for Lauren Alter. This is her 31st World Cup start. So far this season, gold, bronze, gold, silver, 5:34, another big start. We will likely see most of the drivers with a different athlete behind them on Sunday's race, 400s behind Lisa Buchwitz. Losing that speed early on is going to mean that she has to be super clean for the rest of the run. Nice. Out of 13, let's see the exit of 14. Very neat and tidy. Here's where the speed comes back. Speed at the bottom for Lauren Alter. Out of 15, little tap into 16. Good control, best speed of ball, and she's going to lead at line by 1900. So she was tied at corner 10, 2/10 up at the line. That is 300ths of a second off the track record set by Alana Mars-Taylor and Lake Quasar, winning here in January 2022. Beg your pardon, it was their winning year. So Lauren Alter, Deborah Levy, 5:21 the start. We're away from that this morning. It's a very frosty morning, but it was a good looking drive from Lauren Alter and on real track record pace. Just a whisker away, 300ths off the track record from our Olympic champion. She's more in a happy place now than she was feeling her way around Lillehammer last week. Keisha Love, next up with Jasmine Jones, Keisha, our World Championship bronze medalist, behind Kaylee Humphries. Bronze medalist here last year, pushing for Kaylee's. She's got Jasmine Jones, who did a great stint on the mic last week in Lillehammer. 8 World Cup start for Jasmine, the WCAP US Army athlete. 2 bronze medals in her career. Are we going to see more silverware coming here? Only the 5th drive in her World Cup career for Keisha Love. And another brand new track as a driver. 5:34, they start strongly as well. Again, as Lisa Bukwitz has this year, Keisha Love has really impressed with her driving skills. Quite a hard knock into 4. We heard them going on to 6 there, quite a tough take on as well. Out of 10 into 11. Control that second pressure, little skid down into 12. E-corners 13, an exit of 14, not too bad. Come on, baby, come back, come back. Second best speed. Oh, she's gone. She was only 700s back. Rolls top 15. They crossed the line with a 52.16. And this is tough, such a tough track. Well, Keisha had, like almost everybody, 2 weeks in Lillehammer, which really allows you to learn the nuances of the track as a driver. Every other track, it's 6 training runs, combining women bob and monobob, or 4 if you're only doing 1 discipline, and all you do is basically try and learn how not to crash. You can see feet coming out behind. That's Jasmine Jones. Tuffy Tour there in the grey coat with the track workers. He's run down from the finish. They very near made it up onto the flat by the finish. That shows how quickly you are going down at the bottom of the track. Again, height, big height early in 15. Then the sled gets sent down. She's trying to save it, but unfortunately steers it down a fraction early. And centrifugal forces push her up the wall as the corner exits. And you can see Jasmine Jones there, shoulders. She was like thrown half out of the sled. So hopefully they're okay. Well, there they are. Keisha on the right, Jazz on the left. The medical crew will take a look at them. Hopefully both of our sliders are wearing burns vests. Athletes have to worry about their overall weight, and a burns vest adds about 1.5 kilos to you, but it saves an awful lot of damage if you are in a crash and are upside down. So there'll be a 5-minute track hold ahead of Brianna Walker. Pierre Luder's at the front of the sled. And that's a tough break for Keisha Love. First time she's crashed in a World Cup race. I don't know whether she's had experience of a crash before in the training runs she did and in the few races she did. But either way, no matter how many times you crash, it's never going to be nice. Now you can see the track workers here slashing in the gouges in the track. So that is a mixture of ice stroke snow and water. Keisha looking pretty much about there. Nikolai Strati in the black jacket now, one of our IBSF officials, just checking that everything is okay. And the track workers. The reason for filling in the holes is the same reason you don't want ruts on a road when you're driving a car. You want to steer the sled. You don't want the runners dropping into gouge and then leading the sled in places where it shouldn't be going, especially when they're doing 130 kilometers an hour at the bottom of the track. 124, 125 will be the top speeds in the two-seat women's sleds. Either way, nobody wants the sled driving itself at that speed. Getting ready to restart our women's race in Sigulda in Latvia. This is Brianna Walker with Kira Redingis behind her. The Aussies, Brie, 31, raced here in January 2022. Didn't do last year's race, just after the World Championships. And Kira, 2022 Olympian with Brie in her 11th World Cup start. Brie now with 22 starts this morning in women's bobsleigh. So the delay doesn't help anybody. I'm sure everybody is well aware of delays, able to cope with them now. So you can see all the spikes on the start shoes, tiny little needle spikes to allow the athletes to grip the ice. Otherwise they'll be falling on their faces the moment they leave the block. So here we go, fast start, 5:34. And our leader, Lauren Alter, with a 50.75. Brianna Walker finished 18th here in her only previous race. She's had a top 4 and a top 5 in the last 2 starts. So 5:40, good starting from the Aussies. Little tap into 4. Nice from 5 into 6. Good transition. That gives you a little speed down into the upper labyrinth. This really is absolutely a ground level after starting 4 stories up in the start tower. Trying to keep the exit clean. Taylor's head walking around behind her out of 14. Nice into 15. Here we go. Where's this going to be? 4th or 5th at the line. She is 4th. So 800s behind Melanie Hassler. It was a pretty decent looking run from Brianna Walker, 4/10 back. So Lauren Alter to Lisa Bukvitz is nearly 2/10. And another 1300s back to Melanie Hassler. And just again, late exits out of 13 into 14. And then that exit out of 14, watch the runners steering hard there to get it off rather than roll out of the exit. So again, they're coming into the corners quicker or with less grip than they were expecting, and a lot of late steers. Katie Bile of Austria next up, and Katie also with the World Cup debutant brakeman, Nikola Putila. 1 race ever. The former basketball player raced in the World Cup in Lillehammer in December. And Katie's only ever race here involved a silver medal finish back in November 2020. So after a season away from the ice, she'll be hoping to be able to recapture some of the form of the 2020 season where she was the World Cup champion. Keeping it clean up top, 2100s back from the start, only 3400s back now. Nice smooth driving lines, losing almost no more time, Katie Bile. Out of 11. This has been good so far. A little more speed away now. She's going to be 6th, 7th, something like that at the bottom. Nice line in 16. Good exit across the line. It is 5th at the line, 51.17. So World Cup debutante Nicola Pichler in only her second actual bobsleigh race. One of the 4 athletes that Katy Bile has recruited this season. From the unlikely background of basketball. 5:55 start, that's good strong starting from this duo. 47th World Cup start. And on their first ever run together in the Europa Cup in Lillehammer, a steering cable snapped. Amazingly, did not crash. So clearly, Nicola Pichler has a little bit of nine cats' lives. Next up, the world champions, Kim Kilicki and Leonie Fiebig. In Lillehammer, they finished in first. In St. Moritz, they were in 7th place, ending a streak of 17 consecutive podium finishes. Look at the gloves, the red and white of the Cologne Carnival on her gloves and her socks for Leonie Fiebig. They were the silver medalists here last time out. Kim Kilicki with a bronze and 2 silvers on this track. Out of turn 1 nice and quietly. Little tap into 2. A good strong start, 5:35. As fast as we've seen almost, Lisa Buchwitz and Vanessa Mark just 100th quicker. Still in the red by 300ths of a second, Kim Kilicki. Nice line so far, out of 14. Oh, long skid compared to Lauren Alter. She had better speed, but that's all going away. And another really long skid there. Rattles off the wall into 15, has to hold it low. That's cutting more ice. And across the line, 1200s back in 2nd place. All right, in the top 2. 5:35 starts, 50.87 at the bottom. She's shaking her head a little. Here's the exit of 14. Allows the sled to drive to the wall, takes the tap, but the back bunk gets kicked out. Never quite comes off the wall, never comes straight there. Into 15, and out of 15, same deal. Uphill now, into 16. Really putting the brakes on there. And then out of 16, there's the view over that brow. It really is quite steep uphill into corner, into 16. So Kim on the left, Leonie on the right-hand side. Line 2nd place. It's a German top 3 once more. 10 down, 5 to go.
Here we go, ladies.
Alana Myers-Taylor with another World Cup debutante this morning, Sydney Milani. Raced in the North America's Cup last year with Lauren Brzezowski. University of Alabama track and field sprinter and latterly hurdler. Sydney Milani, just 24 years of age. Let's see what she's got. Get up and go. 5:46 with Alana Myers-Taylor. Alana won on her last appearance here with Lake Quasar. And we know that she's still got great driving skills. 1200s back at the start, out to 2500s. Let's see how much she can bring it back. She'll be looking for a top 4 or 5 so far this season. Bronze in La Plagne, bronze in Lillehammer, long skid down into 15. Not out of the top 10, not out of the top 8 so far this season. Nice line, good speed across the line, 8th place, 5th 1:28. 8th at the start, 8th at the bottom. Hard to make much of a difference here. Again, another new brakeman blooded, Sydney Milani, 24 years of age, University of Alabama alumnus. Milana, very late exit. We've seen that so often, almost every sled, except for maybe Lauren Alter and Kim Kilicki. And again, late here, out of 14, really gets a big sideways drift. Hard to get the nose off the wall. I think some of the drivers are thinking, do need to kind of take a little runner shuffle there or something to drag it off the wall. Next up, Ying Qing of China. She's got Wang Yu behind her, keeping Wang Juan for the second race on Sunday. 7th World Cup start. And Wang Yu has got good experience in this track, the brake woman, with Ying Qing. She finished 4th here in last year's race, and that is Ying's best ever World Cup result. In fact, her best 2 World Cup results. 6th place 2 years ago and 4th place here for Ying Qing. 5:45, that's a decent competitive start. That's starting Alana Myers-Taylor, even after a year away. You know you're doing pretty decently. Nice and quiet early on. So what is it about this track then that works so well with Ying Qing? Her first ever World Cup result, a 4th last year. An equal 2nd best result, a 6th place the year before. Something clearly gels. 8th at the start. Whoa, long drift there. Clean out of 15, that's going to help. But the speed has really gone away, I'm afraid. At the line, 10th place, 51.48. Moving down in 51.47. It's 51. She's 1300s, 50.87 it was. So Victoria Chinanska is behind her by a 10th, and Adele Nicol ahead of her by 1300s. So 51.48 slide. Well, this was neat and tidy, but by that stage the speed had largely gone away. So Ying Qing unlikely to match her top 6 previous best here. Next up for Romania, Andrea Grecu, a little bit like Ying, not having the season this year that she did last. This, incredibly, is Andrea's 60th World Cup start, a 43rd as a driver. She's driving and braking over the years. Teodora Vlad behind her, 18th at World Cup start for Teodora. 5 at World Cups here already on this track for Andrea Grecu, including her best ever result, a silver medal in the February 2020 race that was also the European Championships. .557 getaway, and that will leave her fighting for a top 10 spot. It was the 12th best start. She knows this track really well, ahead of her at the start. Victoria Chinanska and Adele Nicol challenging, but losing ground. And again, this has been the story of the season. A few too many mistakes, just losing ground at the line in 12th place, ahead of only Keisha Love, who crashed. Well, that's not ideal. 51.60 for a former silver medalist on this track. She's just struggling this season. I mean, we know she's got the pace. She knows she's got the pace. Her starting is exceptional. We see that in the Monobob. But just the driving is eluding her. And the longer it's not working well, the harder it is to not overdrive. Two sleds to go. It's up for Canada, Bianca Ribby. Another new track for Ribby. No races here in her career. 12th World Cup start for Bianca, 12th for Niamh Hockey. And again, these two are paired up so successfully. Really gel as a team. 12th and 9th, 14th and 16th this season. The only North American track that she will have knowledge of, Bianca, will be the track in Lake Placid after the Worlds. 5:56. She knows some of the European tracks, but didn't come here last year. Twelfth best start, 12th on the splits, corner 6. Corners come at you as fast as you can call them, almost 7, 8, 9, 10, then into 11, then into 12, then into 13, exit 13, into 14. There's barely time to think there. That's a nice exit. Still 12th, but this might bump her up a couple of spots, challenging for a top 10 run. Nice in 16, the double pressure and across the line. 13th at the bottom, 51.61. Again, when you're new to the track, all you learn essentially in training is how not, hopefully, to crash. And then really working on the track and on your driving takes a little bit longer. So it's accident avoidance at this stage. And quite a lot of the newer athletes you'll see, even off a competitive start, having to just overdrive, hauling the sled down a little early, having to put up with the skids as a result. Because at the speeds you're doing on this track, safety is a priority. And self-preservation definitely cuts in. All right, Bianca Ribby, one trip down. She'll have Monobob tomorrow morning, and then a second women's bobsleigh race on Sunday. So she will have some knowledge of the track by the end of it. And finally, 15th of our sleds, Linda Wierzchewski of Poland, here for the Worldcup in 2021, where she crashed out, and in 2023, where they didn't actually start the race. Both times here with Marika Zandeka behind her. Marika, her trusty brakewoman. These two have been together pretty much since Linda started in two-seat sled, almost every start. 5th World Cup race for the duo. Best of 13th in Samaritz. Let's see what they've got. .56, so outstarting Andrea Greco and Teodor Vlad. Same as Bianca Ribby and Niamh Hockey. That is a decent start for the Polish duo, clearly giving it all the beans off the top. Nice in corner 6. 12 best to start. Losing a little ground at the moment. Only 2 race weekends here. Didn't complete the race in either of them. That's a nice exit though. He's just been careful. Big height in 15, look out. 5s. Down into 16. Again, this will be about self-preservation. Across the line in 14th, 51.75. So she was actually behind Keisha Love and everybody else down into corner 16. But by that stage, of course, Keisha Love was on the side in sled, and so didn't have the speed across the line. So 14th place at the line for Linda Wierzchewski. Big height in 15, got away with it. But that would have been a heart in the mouth moment. I don't know where they crashed in their first trip here back in 2021. I know she does. I know Marika Zandeka, her brakewoman, does. We got it down. So, yeah, a little bit sore in the shoulders, a bit of rocking rolling going on there. What a brutal ride. Our first meet leader then, Lara Nolder, with rookie Claudia Schuster behind her. We're going to end up with a medal on her first World Cup start. Well, last time out, she won here in Europe Cup racing with Stefan Schneider. He steps up now to the World Cup and leads with Lara Nolter. Lara looking for a 3rd consecutive World Cup win on this track. Lara Nolter leads from Killicky and Lisa Buchwitz. That's a tight-looking battle. Melanie Hassler ahead of Brianna Walker, narrowly ahead of Kathy Bile. And then Adele Nicol, 9th place ahead of Ying Qing and Victoria Chananska. Her attention will be on trying to catch Cynthia Appia and Alana Myers-Taylor who are within a tenth in front. And that is it for the first of our 2 heats. Second heat coming up shortly. We will see you then. Till then, from the IBSF TV crew, Martin Haven, thanks for joining us. Bye for now.